Good morning, everyone. As you may have guessed, we are going to begin by singing together this morning. We're going to sing Morning Has Come. It's the first song in the teal hymnal. The words will be on the screen. Please rise in body and spirit wherever you are and join in singing this morning. Welcome to all of you who enter this sanctuary as a homecoming. Whether you are here with us for the first time or the 100th time or the 1000th time, we hope you find a home here with us at the Unitarian Society this morning and every morning as we live into this beautiful and heartbreaking world. I'm the Reverend Julia Hamilton, and I am delighted to be here with you this morning. My pronouns are she, her, and I am sharing our service this morning with Angie Swanson-Kiriako, our membership and outreach coordinator, because this morning we are welcoming some of our newest members into this home, into this spiritual community that we share. It's a wonderful morning to be together. We're here with Matthew Grissett, our music director, our USSB singers. We've got our USSB musicians, Heather on the piano, and Keir Zecker is our worship associate this morning. And we gather here once again into this loving community of seekers, where we strive to live with integrity, nurture wonder, and inspire the actions that transform us and transform the world. If you're joining us in our online sanctuary, we are delighted you are here as well. We hope that if you're new to us, you will click on that visitor button and tell us how to get connected. And if you're joining us here in person, you can stop by the the welcome table after the service and fill out a connection card so that we can keep you updated with all of the things that are going on here at the congregation, because there are so many things beyond Sunday morning that we do together. And any Sunday, if you feel like this has become your home, you are invited to sign the membership book, find Angie at the membership table, and we will welcome you with open arms into this community. Some of the things that are coming up in the life of this congregation I want to highlight, because we have some big annual events just around the corner. Next Sunday is our annual meeting of the membership. This is the time when we gather to reflect on the year that has passed, look ahead toward what's coming, participate in the democratic governance of the congregation. Everybody loves the word governance, I know. And we also celebrate our annual meeting with our annual flower celebration. That means you are invited to bring a flower with you to services next Sunday, and we will gather them together to represent the beauty of this community. This is a ritual that is shared by Unitarian Universalists around the world every spring, and it is one of the most beloved and beautiful Sundays in our year, so please join us. The ballots for the annual meeting have been sent out, so you don't have to be here to vote. You can, in fact, it's a lot easier if you cast that vote before we gather in person and count them by hand. So go ahead and fill out that ballot. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us here and help you with that if you need. This Friday, the Alliance, which meets once a month on the first Friday of every month, is gathering for their end of the year celebration before they take a break over the summer. It's a great time to get to know the Alliance if you haven't had a chance to meet them. Friday afternoon in Parish Hall. Finally, I'd like to say that if you are interested in joining other Unitarian Universalists in acts of public witness, in going out and marching, we've got a great, beautiful banner we often bring out with us. Marches like the one coming up on the 14th. You can get connected with our Justice and Equity group by joining their email list, and every Friday you'll get an update on all the work of justice that's going on amongst the members of that team. And you can always jump on the Zoom call at 10 o'clock on Fridays to find out what people are doing to make this world a better place together. So sign up for that Justice and Equity email list if you want to be kept up with the news, or join the call if you want to jump in. And finally, I want to say that our coffee hour this morning is going to be out in the garden because we are going to be welcoming our newest members with a luncheon in Parish Hall. So we're going to ask you to keep your coffee out in the garden unless you are one of the new members who is joining us for the luncheon. I invite you now to take a breath. I invite myself to take a breath. You all are a busy community. It's wonderful. Let us bring ourselves here to this moment together. Give ourselves the gift of community as we ring our bell and let the sound connect us.
As Julia lights our chalice this morning, we kindle our shared flame with our light, our sparks of hope burning bright, our desires so grand, our love so wide, for justice is calling us. We work side by side. But as we reach, we stumble and rise once more with imperfect hands and missteps galore. May this fire remind us it's true. We are enough, not just what we do. So lean into our glow, let it gleam as we continue to nurture our dream, affectionate with our human strife, grateful for this precious life.
Thank you, Kier, for reminding us of the preciousness of this life that we share together. Every time a member of this congregation dies, we light a candle of memory to honor their life here among us. This has been a heavy week, my friends, and this morning we have 4 names to read into our collective heart. We remember this morning Albert Melkonian, Harlan Peterson, Tom Sheff, and Ted Stern. 4 remarkable men, all over the age of 90. All of them having lived thoughtful, caring, generous, engaged lives. All of them showing us and teaching us in their own way what it means to be a human being that cares about this world. Together, they have over 100 years of experience in the life of this congregation. There is so much wisdom held among us, and it is right that we gather to honor and remember them. We'll be sharing more information about ceremonies and celebrations in honor of their life as that comes. But right now, we hold them in our heart. We hold their families and loved ones, particularly Ann Peterson and Kay Stern. And we hold this whole community together, all those who have come before us and made their home here with us for a time, and on whose shoulders we rest. Blessings on your journey. We lift up the good times and the hard times here together, and we have a good thing this morning. Sarah, if you want to come up and share with us our good thing this morning.
Good morning. Many of you know I'm a teacher in the Santa Barbara School District, and this past Tuesday, our school board passed a resolution formally recognizing Pride Month. And our school district said that they will neither mandate nor prevent schools from flying the pride flag. And the Santa Barbara Teachers Association went out and bought a pride flag for every school and sent them to the principals. And they encourage teachers to talk to their principals, and my school, which is an elementary school, has a lot of allies, including our principal. So starting tomorrow, we will be flying the pride flag on our main campus flagpole. And we will show everybody that we are a welcoming, inclusive space.
And that is a good thing. So let us sing together once more, number 317 in the gray hymnal, "We Are Not Our Own." Please rise in body and spirit and join us in song.
Generations, see
And I'm Julia Hamilton, and on June 30th, I will enter my last year of my 40s. And I want to give a shout out to Mary Grimm, who's joining us most every Sunday at home, who has a milestone birthday this June as well. And I'm so grateful that Kier is offering us our birthday blessing this month. At this point in the service, we are going to sing our kids out to their classes this morning. However, if you're one of our new member families, and we're going to be bringing you up here in just a moment, you're welcome to stay together as a family, and then if your kids want to be a part of that ceremony, and then go to their classes after that. So you can leave now, or you can stay for just a few more minutes and leave after that, your choice. Let us sing our kids out to their classes.
Hold you in our love as you go. May your hearts be at peace as you go. To nurture the spark of your precious love. We hold you in our love as you go.
I would like to invite Angie and Sally, a membership ministry team member, up to join me here on the chancel. And in just a moment, there is going to be something for everyone to do. So if you're in the congregation, there's an insert in your order of service. And if you're coming up here, bring that insert with you, because it's got some words on it that we're going to read together. Now, 2 or 3 times a year, we do a special welcome for the newest members of the congregation as part of our Sunday service. And this morning, we are going to read out the names of 25 new members and their kids that we are welcoming today. Now, not every single person is here with us in person. Some are joining us online. Some had to be elsewhere. But we're going to read everyone's name to recognize them and honor them. And when you hear your name, come on up. And I'm going to grab one of those inserts from Angie because it has the names on it. So when you hear your name, and we're just going to kind of have to cluster up here on the chancel together. So we recognize Eberhard Bruner, Brad Gaffney, Ann Harbaugh, Dan Lane with Clark and Theo, Craig and Shannon Lewis, Solace McGettigan, Alex Overby and Brent Wells, Whitney Rubison, Jean Urban, Tom Owen Toll and Loretta Salisbury, Randine and Travis Maniac with Carver and Kaya, Drew Carmichael and Kat Consola, Sarah Davis with Dylan and Simon, who were here earlier, Sterling Keeley, Isaac Laris, Rose Marr, Abby Olson with Huxley, Colleen Repke, Jamie Tate with Sebastian, and Rachel Yoder with Leo. Come on up. You can just kind of, clump together. If we need to make 2 rows, that's fine. Come on up. Community here.
But good morning.
Like it's SeaWorld and you're going to get splashed.
No one will get wet. Good morning, all. It's so good to be here with you. Again, I'm Angie Swanson-Kiriakou. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Outreach and Membership Coordinator here at the Unitarian Society. And I'm so excited to welcome all of our new members today. Membership at the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara is a special thing. It's not the same as joining a gym or a social club or some other worthy organization that will send you a bumper sticker in return for an annual donation. This is a community that asks for more than just your signature on a page. We ask that you show up as your full self, all your hopes and fears, struggles and joys, questions and commitments. In return, we hope you find here meaningful connections and a place to grow and learn and thrive as the wonderful human beings you are. What is possible for this community is only determined by the energy, commitment, and love that people devote to this special place. Because after all, you, our members, you are the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara. I'd like to now ask Sally, one of our leaders of our membership ministry team, to give you a small welcome gift.
I've been a member for 50 years, and I've never seen as large a group as this. It's so wonderful. Yeah. So, please accept this flower as a sign of welcome into our congregation. We hope that you will continue to bloom here among us, bringing your unique beauty into our community, sharing your gifts, and growing alongside others who are also planting the seeds of love, justice, compassion, and joy. Now, will the congregation please join me in reading the words of welcome that are in your order of service on the screen. If you're joining us from home, we hope you will read them out loud with us. We welcome you into our community. We offer you our support, encouragement, and love as we travel this path together. We will show up for you, learn with you, and invite you to share your dreams, ideas, and gifts with us. Together, we will strive to build a more compassionate world where all people can flourish. Together, we are the Unitarian Society of Santa Barbara, and we are a better place because you are here. Read your card.
The insert. Noise. We're going to get to trade places with our singers, so you can go ahead and return to your seats as some of our singers welcome you with song. invite us now into a time of meditation and prayer, a time when we orient ourselves toward that larger love that starts within us and moves out beyond us. So if you want to just take a moment and settle yourself wherever you are, maybe feel your feet on the floor or hold your hands open in your lap, get in touch with your breath and body in space. And our words this morning come from my colleague, the Reverend Sean Neil Barron, who serves in Colorado. And Colorado is in the midst of defending a proposed law that would protect transgender children. And he wrote this in honor of that love that moves towards a fierce protection and advocacy for our kids in particular. As we enter this Pride Month, we will be finding ways to lift up the work of joy and fierce love in our communities. And so this is called Tell on Ourselves. They want us to snitch on love, so let's snitch on love. They've built a digital confession booth where neighbors can whisper about the kid next door who cut their hair short, where coworkers can rat out the teacher who uses different pronouns, where anyone with a grudge and a Wi-Fi connection can turn caring into a crime. They call it protecting children. We call it what it is, a bounty system for breaking families apart. Tell on us for holding our trans daughter's hand through high school, for buying our son his first binder and watching his shoulders drop with relief, for driving 3 states over because our kid deserved a doctor who saw their humanity first, for staying up until 2 a.m. Googling how to love your queer child better. Report us for saying we see you instead of we'll fix you, for believing our children when they tell us who they are, for teaching that their bodies belong to them. Tell on the grandmothers learning new pronouns at 75, hearts steady as lighthouses. Tell on the fathers who threw out old playbooks about boys and girls and wrote new ones about raising humans. Here's what they don't get. Love multiplies when you try and divide it. Every family they target creates 10 more allies. Every story they silence becomes a song someone else learns to sing. They think they're hunting monsters, but they're chasing ghosts. They think they are praying for miracles while missing that we are living miracles, telling bedtime stories that end with you are exactly who you are supposed to be. So crash their servers with our stories. Tell on us for loving louder than they can legislate. Now go love somebody so hard it breaks their algorithms apart. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Let us enter into a time of quiet, not the quiet of acceptance and resignation, but that quiet space where we ground ourselves in that fierce love that starts like a flame here and roars out into a world in need of love and care. Let us enter into this time of quiet together. right where you are, and we're going to sing together, We Would Be One, number 318 in the gray hymnal.
Our reading is by Roger Butts, a Unitarian Universalist chaplain, called Above All, Love. Then, let us first of all have grace. Grace for those who have come before us. Sometimes they got it right, sometimes not. But we know more now because of them. If not grace, then gratitude. Next, let us have some grace for each one in their own particularity. We must always strive for common ground and work from there. If not grace, then an open heart. Finally, let's have some grace for ourselves, knowing we too can be wretched, to use a big word, or just plain old wrong, to be more direct. If not grace, then a bit of self-compassion. And let us, in the end, hate the parts of us that are warlike more than we hate the other who we imagine to be. And let us say, looking in the mirror, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, have mercy on me, so that we may have mercy on all of creation. If not mercy, then love. Above all, love. Each month here at the Unitarian Society, we share our portion of our offering with a group or organization that's living out our values in the world. And our outreach offering for June is for Juneteenth, Santa Barbara. Juneteenth, Santa Barbara is our local celebration of the national recognition of Black Independence Day. And it's a collaborative effort to showcase Black culture, talent, and joy in Santa Barbara County. This year's event is in a couple weeks, June 14th at Plaza Del Mar Park. down by the beach. And year-round, Juneteenth Santa Barbara helps uplift the local Black African American-led serving organizations. So please give as generously as you can now to support this important partner in our quest for a more beloved community. Join me now in reading our affirmation of gratitude and giving. Let us be grateful when we are able to give, for many do not have that privilege. Let us be grateful for those who share their gifts with us, for we are enriched by their giving. And let us be grateful even for our needs, so that we may learn from the generosity of others.
Well, it's not fair making me cry before I have to speak. Thank you, musicians, for that beautiful music. Good morning. There's an old joke in our tradition attributed to Thomas Starr King, who was this famous firebrand of a Unitarian minister in California in the mid-1800s. But before I share it, I'm going to do a little UU History 101 for those of you who may have missed the class a few weeks ago, so that this joke makes a little sense for everyone. So the Unitarian Universalist tradition evolved from this merger of two distinct, progressive, some would say heretical, Christian theologies of Unitarianism and Universalism. Our roots lie with those who have always been on the margins of Christianity, asking questions and pushing the envelope theologically, until eventually we pushed ourselves right out of traditional theology altogether into the open field of pluralism, which is where we are now. But back to our origin story and that 175-year-old joke. So the Universalists were known for preaching about a loving God who never sent anyone off to eternal damnation. They were the no-hell church, as people called them. And they believed in this idea of universal salvation, which is where they got their name, Universalists. And Unitarians were known for being focused more on morality and ethics. They preached, among other things, that Jesus was not God, not the Trinitarian position, which is why they were called Unitarians instead. And instead of being God, that Jesus was a teacher, a moral exemplar, teaching people how to, as the biblical text said, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. The Unitarians were interested in what goodness and justice looked like through the lives we lived, rather than what we believed. The Universalists were often more popular in rural, poorer communities, and the Unitarians, who were generally wealthier and more educated, held power in urban centers like Boston and Philadelphia. But eventually these two traditions grew closer and closer together until in 1961, they joined forces and we became that mouthful of a name, Unitarian Universalism. And those of you who are new here are going to have to practice saying that long name. But long before the merger, there was Thomas Starr King. He was born into a Universalist family in New York, and he became a Unitarian minister, making him one of the first Unitarian Universalists 100 years before they officially joined together. So here's the joke. Thomas Starr King was out walking with a childhood friend of his who was trying to understand the difference between these two denominations. Well, said Starr King, Universalists think God is too good to damn them, while Unitarians think they are too good to be damned. This was very witty theological humor in 1850. It was a dig at the Unitarians, of course, who were thought to look down slightly on their Universalist country cousins. The Unitarians of that era had a little bit of a reputation for getting a little self-righteous, you see, always telling everyone how to behave as if they alone were smart enough to see the injustices of the world and everyone else was always falling short. Thank goodness we never slip into that kind of self-righteousness anymore. I tell this joke not because it has a banger of a punchline, but because I think it illustrates this tension that we have always wrestled with. As a faith tradition that puts emphasis on deeds, not creeds, that thinks it's more important to focus on how we live our lives right now than worry about what happens after we die, how do we deal with that stress of living up to our own self-imposed high moral standards? If we are defined by our actions, not our beliefs, then what if our actions from time to time and the actions of others are less than perfect. Does that mean we have failed as Unitarian Universalists and that Star King, whose name is on one of our windows, is looking down at us and shaking his head in disappointment? How many of our beloved quotes and speakers exhort us to take responsibility for living our values? We are the ones we've been waiting for, after all. I recently read this quote by the wonderful climate activist and writer Joanna Macy. If the world is to be healed through human efforts, I am convinced it will be by ordinary people, people whose love for this life is even greater than their fear. And at first, I'm like, right on, exactly. Ordinary people are going to heal this world. Wait a minute, that's us. That's a lot of pressure to heal the world. This is urgent and important, and if we don't do everything in our power every second of the day, we will have not let down ourselves alone, but the whole world along with us. We may have let go of the project of saving our own individual souls, but we have run the risk of taking on a much bigger project, that of saving everyone. That's a lot of pressure to put on each other. We may have let go of the idea of a judgmental God, but that doesn't mean we have let go of the idea of judging one another or ourselves. So how do we offer grace in this situation? Grace for each other and our neighbors, while at the same time holding on to those values that are important, that are critical, and that I do believe save us together. How many of you here in this room have felt judged at one point or another because you have not lived up to a stated and publicly shared value? You can raise your hand if you want, you don't have to, right? A lot of folks. It could be something very small, someone catching your eye disapprovingly as you drop the bottle in the trash instead of seeking out a recycling container. It could be driving to work when you made a great big deal with your family about how you were going to ride your bike every day. It could be that protest that you said you were going to show up for, and you get those texts from your friends saying, "Where are you? We're by the fountain," and you are on the couch. These are small things, little dings in our ego perhaps, gaps between who we want to be, who we sincerely want to be, and who we are as human beings. And these little things can add up in the weight on our spirits. But there are larger things too, of course. More significant ways we slip up. More significant ways we hurt ourselves and each other sometimes. Repeating harmful habits we said we would break. Promises not kept, an unkind word or a raised voice, an unconscious bias that slips out into a hurtful assumption. We want to be loving and thoughtful and kind and generous and disciplined at all times. Not just for show, not just for piety's sake, but because we believe that it matters. It wouldn't bother us if it didn't matter so much. Every Sunday, we get up here together and we talk about how much it matters, that we hold these values in common and we work to make them real among us. The stakes can feel so high, and these times, my friends, these times are demanding the very best from us. And that's the key word, us. I talk a lot about the power of collective action, about how we are stronger together. And many of you are here in this congregation because you want to throw yourself into the work of building a better world with people who are dedicated to those same values. We know that we build power by coming together. We can do great things when we come together. But this morning I want to highlight an often overlooked quality of being part of a group, and that is that collective action is also what makes room for individual failure. Collective action makes room for for us to be human. I know it seems counterintuitive, but failing with other people around you is better than failing alone. So let's start with a simple example, right? Postcard writing to our elected representatives. We know that if I write one postcard, drop in the bucket. If a bunch of us get together after a service and we send 500 postcards, well, then we might have the power to have our voices heard. If I put the wrong address on my one postcard and drop it in the mail and it gets lost, well, then that thought, that voice, that value gets lost too. But if we're gathered in Parish Hall and we send 500 postcards and I put the address wrong on one of mine, well, 499 of them still get through. One personal failure when we're working together, one personal slip, one personal point of exhaustion or burnout, it doesn't tank the whole project. I remember one particular example from an unlikely situation at my wedding. As an interfaith couple, we incorporated both Unitarian Universalist and Jewish traditions, which means that at some point during the reception, I found myself hoisted up in the air on a chair while my spouse was similarly lifted, and we're holding a handkerchief between us while our strongest friends did their best to keep us aloft and dodge the ceiling fans. And every now and then, sitting up there, one of the corners of the chair would start to dip a little bit, threatening to tip me or my spouse over. Somebody would lose their grip or get tired or stumble. But the other chair hoisters, they always managed to compensate and straighten out before it got too off kilter, before any bones were broken, and we made it safely back to the ground. When we are being lifted by our community, every single person doesn't need to be a strong man. It doesn't mean that no one can falter or slip or get tired. It simply means that we need to have enough strength together to cover the gaps and keep things aloft. The job is to right the chair when it inevitably tilts, not to keep it perfectly balanced as if it were on stable ground. I think about this in more consequential ways, too. I think about the power, for example, of Alcoholics Anonymous groups. There are a lot of different models for dealing with addiction. This is not the only one, but one of the reasons people find this space so healing is because they are one of the few places where a group has managed to hold on to strong values, but also make plenty of space for personal failings. No matter how many times you relapse, you are always welcome in a meeting. The group's values of sobriety and honesty are not threatened when one person falls down. There can be deep grace in communities like this, even while holding a high-level commitment to deep and important values. And it comes with accountability, of course. That's one of the values of the group, taking accountability for your mistakes when they happen. But the values of the group are strong enough to hold together even when individuals fall apart. Even when individuals fall apart, when we hold values together, we become strong enough to survive. Failing with other people around you is better than failing alone. This is not a message we receive very often in the dominant culture. In this day and age of constant documentation, of an internet that never forgets, a video that can go viral in an instant, there is this very real fear that any mistake, any perceived hypocrisy, any lapse in judgment will be with you forever. The fear is real. The fear of being judged is pervasive right now in our culture. The individualism that haunts us is not a problem just because of that myth of individual success, that pull yourself up by your own bootstraps myth, that rugged hero alone against the system, that self-made billionaire. But the ethic of individualism also makes every individual failure larger than life. It creates this atmosphere of constant scrutiny. It tells you that if all there is you, Then what happens when you aren't all you're supposed to be? Where do you find grace when there is no one around you to offer it to you? This hyper-individualized moment we live in, this is where judgment of ourselves as well as others can become kind of a hobby, not just a habit. The buffering power of being in real community can be lost. And so this is one final point that I want to make about why it's better to fail together. And that's because when a group comes together around shared values but makes room for individuals to make mistakes and holds the grace of non-judgmental relationships, those mistakes actually make the group stronger rather than weaker. Far from undermining the values of the whole or derailing the larger mission of love and justice, mistakes made and held in compassionate community strengthen the work of the group in the world. Because we learn from each other, my friends, constantly and always. That's one of the things our new member welcome says. We will learn together. And so if you feel safe enough to be vulnerable, if you know that you will be held with grace and non-judgment when you talk about the places you've burnt out, broken down, been sad, failed, misspoke, if you feel safe enough to share these things, we become stronger together. It opens the door not just for personal transformation, for personal recommitment to those values we hold important, but for collective transformation, an opportunity for all of us to collectively right that chair. But if you feel like we have to hide these things from one another, then we lose out on that opportunity to get better together. Being open about our hurts and bruises and tumblings brings a richness to this collective work and a way of healing as we go on this journey together. This is long-haul work we are doing. Building a world with more justice and peace and compassion and joy. This is not for the faint of heart, and these things are the work of a lifetime, if not longer. We need places where grace and aspiration can be held together. So, come and fail with us. There is room for you here, where we all want to grow into our best selves, but we know sometimes we won't always be our best selves, and we will survive and get stronger even because of it. Where we cultivate the power of collectively held action alongside the power of gracefully held mistakes. We know there is enough love in this world to save us all, and we know that we are enough to save one another. May it be so. Blessed be, and amen. Let us rise in body and spirit to sing together, Love Will Guide Us. It's number 131.
All
right where you are, and if you want to put your hands over your heart or hold your hands open to the person next to you, if you have permission to hold hands with them, or just open to the world, however it is that you get connected into this beautiful community of aspiration and hope as well as healing. And as you go out into this beautiful and heartbreaking world, may the light of love shine upon you, out from within you, be gracious unto you, and bring you peace. For this is the day we are given. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. And let us call out a blessing.